Let's start with the first claim. The idea that chocolate leads to acne is a widely held myth. Scientific evidence suggests that acne is associated not with chocolate per se, but with consuming excessive amounts, especially if it's high in sugar and fat. Moderate intake of pure dark chocolate, rich in cocoa, has no discernible effect on skin health. Fact number 2. The idea that reading under poor lighting conditions will damage one's eyesight is inaccurate. While eye strain and fatigue are common experiences, there is no conclusive evidence of lasting negative effects. Vision impairment is generally linked to hereditary factors, age, and prolonged periods of close-up visual work. Fact number 3. Exposure to cold air with wet hair is widely believed to invariably result in a cold. This is inaccurate. Colds are viral infections, not a direct result of cold temperatures. While wet hair may increase the risk of hypothermia, a viral infection is necessary for illness to occur. The higher incidence of viruses during winter months has fostered this myth. Point 4. The widely held belief that one should drink 8 glasses of water per day is not a universally accurate guideline. The necessary amount of water varies depending on several factors: weight, climate, level of physical activity, and type of diet. A considerable amount of daily water intake is obtained through food, including tea and soups. Therefore, thirst and urine color are better indicators of proper hydration than simply counting the number of glasses consumed. Fact number 5. The assertion that sugar causes hyperactivity in children is a myth disproven by extensive research. Parents are more likely to perceive increased activity if they are aware of their child's sugar intake. The effect stems from parental expectations, not the sugar itself. Placebo studies corroborate this. Hyperactivity is induced. Number 6. A common misconception is that humans only have 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. The reality is that we possess a significantly larger number of senses. This includes our sense of balance, our perception of temperature, our awareness of body position, our feeling of internal pain, and our perception of oxygen levels. While scientific understanding has moved beyond this simplified model, the school curriculum continues to use the outdated 5-sense model. The 7th point. Veins seem blue despite containing red blood. This is because venous blood is darker than arterial blood. The blue color is an optical illusion. Skin filters light, causing short wavelengths to scatter and create the blue appearance. This is purely a visual effect, not a biological one. Point 8. It's false to claim a direct link between sugar and diabetes. Type 2 diabetes develops due to a combination of factors, including genetics, being overweight, and insulin resistance. While excessive sugar intake can contribute to obesity, it doesn't initiate the disease on its own. Fact 9. It's a common misconception that shaving makes hair grow back thicker and harder. The truth is that after shaving, the hair loses its natural taper, creating the illusion of increased thickness. The actual thickness and density of hair are determined by genetics and hormonal factors. Shaving has no effect on the hair follicle structure. Fact number 10. The frequently given but hazardous suggestion that milk is beneficial in cases of poisoning is inaccurate. Milk may intensify the absorption of certain toxins, especially those that dissolve in fats. Appropriate first aid for poisoning includes inducing vomiting and contacting a medical professional, not consuming milk and bread. Point 11. The notion that nails and hair continue their growth post-mortem is incorrect. The skin retracts after death, exposing more of the nail bed and hair shaft, giving the appearance of growth. This is an illusion. Genuine growth demands living cells and energy intake. Fact number 12. It is a common and dangerous misconception that antibiotics are effective against viruses, particularly those causing colds and influenza. The truth is that antibiotics target bacteria exclusively. Viruses are not susceptible to them. The inappropriate use of antibiotics results in the development of antibiotic resistance and the disruption of the body's natural microflora. Fact number 13. The recommendation of 8 hours of sleep isn't applicable to everyone. Individual needs vary. Some require only 6 hours. Others need more than 9. Sleep quality, its phases, genetic predisposition, and age are all influential factors. The priority is waking up feeling refreshed, not meeting an arbitrary standard. Fact number 14. It's a misconception that the human brain works at only 10% of its potential. Brain imaging consistently shows activity in many different parts of the brain, even when a person is resting. Although we don't use every part of the brain at the same time, almost all areas are used during the course of a day. Point 15. It's a misconception that gluten harms everyone. In reality, only people with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity face significant health risks from gluten consumption. The majority of the population processes wheat, rye, and barley without issues. The prevalence of gluten-free products is mainly driven by marketing, not medical evidence. Fact 16. A widespread misconception is that failing to eat breakfast slows down one's metabolism. The metabolic rate is, in fact, regulated by a multitude of factors, and a single missed breakfast will have negligible effect. Consuming a morning meal is important for maintaining energy and concentration, but it does not initiate bodily processes. The 17th point. The feeling of warmth from alcohol is a misconception. Ethyl alcohol expands blood vessels, resulting in increased blood flow to the skin, creating a sensation of heat. Nevertheless, this process concurrently increases the body's rate of heat loss. This is especially hazardous in cold conditions. An inebriated individual experiences a false sense of warmth while their body temperature decreases. Fact 18. Lowering body temperature with vinegar during a fever is an outdated and dangerous practice. Vinegar compresses can cause skin irritation, and inhaling vinegar vapors can lead to intoxication, especially in children. The cooling effect is short-term. Proven fever-reducing medications are a safer and more effective alternative. The 19th point. A misconception from the early 2000s and aughts states that using a cell phone during a thunderstorm is risky. This is untrue. A cell phone does not draw lightning. High places, open areas, and metal objects are the real hazards. The electronics themselves do not make someone a lightning strike target. Point 20. The assertion that carrots improve vision is attractive yet untrue. Carrots contain vitamin A, crucial for healthy eyes, but consuming excessive amounts won't enhance eyesight. This misconception became widespread due to British wartime propaganda during the Second World War. Fact 21. Even if food is retrieved from the floor in under 5 seconds, its edibility is not guaranteed. Contamination with bacteria happens nearly instantaneously, especially from unclean surfaces. The 5-second rule is a misconception, lacking scientific evidence. The degree of risk is linked to the place of the fall, not the time spent on the floor. Instant intuition is not invariably correct. It's typically an automatic response stemming from past experiences. While useful at times, it often results in errors and biases. In challenging circumstances, intuition can be deceptive, especially when information is limited. Fact 23. The assertion that sugar is addictive in the same way as narcotics is a dramatic claim, but untrue. The enjoyable taste and rapid energy increase can lead to habitual consumption, but it does not create the same physical dependency as other substances. The addiction is essentially psychological. Fact 24. The proximity to a screen does not automatically lead to impaired vision. Contemporary screens are safer than older models. The crucial factors are the length of screen time and eye strain, not the distance. Taking breaks, blinking regularly, and maintaining good lighting are essential. Nearness to the screen is not inherently damaging. Fact 25. The assertion that cameras monitor you via your television set is alarming. In reality, the vast majority of televisions do not possess integrated cameras. Smart televisions offering video communication features are the exception. Accessing these requires a cybercriminal to compromise your network, a complex undertaking demanding substantial preparation. Fact 26. Illness resulting from air conditioner use only occurs with inadequate maintenance. Cold air alone does not cause disease. The risk stems from bacteria and mold within unclean filters. Proper cleaning and a moderate temperature ensure the air conditioner's safe operation and contribute to lower dust levels. Fact 27. The belief that frequent shaving accelerates hair growth is incorrect. It's an optical illusion. A freshly shaved hair's end seems thicker, especially if it grows vertically. But shaving doesn't actually alter hair growth speed or density. Hair follicles aren't instructed to grow faster. Fact 28. It's a common misconception, stemming from pop psychology, that individuals utilize only one hemisphere of their brain. Neurophysiological studies show that both hemispheres work together actively during most tasks. The terms left-brained and right-brained personality types are marketing labels unsupported by scientific evidence. Point 29. There is a widespread misconception that hair and nails continue their growth after death. This is incorrect. All biological processes in the body stop after death. The perceived growth is a result of skin desiccation. The skin shrinks, exposing more of the hair and nail bases, creating the illusion of growth. This is a visual effect only, not actual cell function. Number 30. It is widely believed, though not scientifically proven, that consuming sunflower seeds may cause appendicitis. Appendicitis is an inflammatory condition stemming from infection or an obstruction, not a specific food item. Although theoretically possible, the occurrence of seed husks entering the appendix is extremely infrequent. Point 31. Reading from a phone screen negatively impacts eyesight more significantly than reading printed books. The determining factor isn't the reading medium, phone or book, but rather the reader's habits. Maintaining a proper distance from the eyes, adequate lighting, and reasonable reading durations. Electronic screens pose no greater risk than paper if eye hygiene is practiced and prolonged reading sessions are avoided. Fact 32. Coffee's dehydrating effect is only noticeable with overuse. Consuming moderate amounts of caffeine, 2 to 3 cups per day, doesn't lead to dangerous levels of dehydration. Furthermore, coffee itself contains water, thus partially contributing to fluid balance. Fact 33. Weight loss difficulties aren't solely caused by carbohydrates. The real problem is overconsumption of food and a lack of physical activity. Carbohydrate-rich foods like whole grains, fruits, and vegetables actually aid in weight control. Simply demonizing carbohydrates is a simplistic approach that doesn't work. Fact 34. The assertion that lemons eliminate viruses is true in sound, but false in effect. Vitamin C is vital for immune function. However, it does not independently eradicate viruses. Neither lemon tea nor pure lemon juice functions as an antiseptic. Their impact is restricted to minor symptom reduction. Facts number 35. The belief that eating before sleep causes weight gain is incorrect. Daily caloric balance, not the time of eating, is the key factor. Weight increases only when calorie consumption exceeds calorie expenditure. Food consumed after 8 p.m. doesn't automatically become fat if one is active and maintains a healthy calorie intake. Fact number 36. The assumption that all natural substances are beneficial is incorrect. Mercury, cyanide, and mold are naturally occurring substances that are highly toxic. Many synthetic substances prove to be safer than their natural counterparts. The key factors are dosage, context of use, and rigorous testing, not simply the origin of the substance. Naturalness does not guarantee safety or benefit. Fact 37. During illness, Temperature regulation is crucial. Fever is a body's protective mechanism, assisting in viral combat. Lowering the temperature is advisable only with substantial discomfort or readings exceeding 38.5 degrees. Fact number 38. A sleepwalking individual should not be awakened abruptly. Gentle awakening is permissible. While a sudden awakening may startle the sleepwalker, it poses little physical risk. The greater danger is the possibility of a fall or collision with an object. The primary concern should be the sleepwalker's safety, not the act of waking them. Fact number 39. Many believe that the intensity of sweating directly correlates with fat burning. This is a misconception. Sweating is a physiological process of thermal regulation, not a measure of fat loss. One can sweat heavily in a sauna, yet experience minimal calorie expenditure. Sustainable weight management is achieved through exercise and diet, not solely through perspiration. Number 41. The assertion that raw vegetables are always healthier is not entirely accurate. Cooking can actually improve the absorption of certain nutrients, like lycopene, found in tomatoes. Although boiling diminishes some vitamins, it also activates other beneficial substances. A varied approach to vegetable preparation is key to reaping their full health benefits rather than solely focusing on raw consumption. Fact number 41. It's a misconception that a single gym session converts muscle into fat. This is false. Muscle and fat are distinct tissues. One cannot become the other. When training ceases, muscle mass reduces, and if caloric intake remains high, fat mass increases. This is replacement, not transformation. The 42nd point. Vision may be enhanced through eye exercises. However, this does not encompass myopia or hyperopia. Such exercises alleviate eye strain, but they do not modify the length of the eyeball or the lens's shape. This is a consequence of anatomical structure. Glasses and lenses correct but do not treat vision problems. Fact number 43. The assertion that placing a mobile phone next to one's pillow leads to brain tumors is inaccurate. Comprehensive scientific research has not yielded conclusive evidence of a correlation between mobile phone radiation and cancer development. The emitted radiation lacks the power to cause cellular damage. Ensuring adequate sleep is paramount. Fact number 44. Significant chilling can increase the risk of contracting influenza. Cold temperatures, however, are not the direct cause of influenza. Viruses are. Exposure to cold temperatures weakens the immune system, thereby increasing vulnerability to infection, but it does not initiate the illness. The onset of illness depends on contact with an infected person and the individual's overall health status. Number 45. Fact. A broken blood vessel in the eye might be wrongly interpreted as a sign of high blood pressure. The truth is, it's more often caused by stress, overwork, or a sudden sharp movement. Eye pressure and blood pressure are not always connected. Although it looks frightening, it generally clears up without problems. Fact number 46. The popular belief that gray hair appears due to fear or extreme stress in a single night is a misconception. Hair color change is not immediate. The pigment in hair is lost gradually. While stress might speed up this process, it won't happen in a single day. Existing hair does not change color. Fact number 47. Hair growth myth debunked. The idea that avoiding haircuts makes hair grow faster is a misconception. The rate of hair growth is dictated by the hair follicles, not the length of the hair shaft. The appearance of slow growth may be due to split ends, but the frequency of trims has no impact on the actual growth rate. Factors such as overall health, diet, and hormonal balance are the true determinants of hair growth speed. Fact 48. A high intake of vitamin C does not provide complete protection against illness. While large doses won't prevent infection, they might slightly reduce the duration of a cold. The body expels excess vitamin C through urination, and excessive amounts can cause stomach irritation and diarrhea. More is not necessarily better. Fact 49. The onset of speech in intelligent children is not always early. There's significant variation in speech development, and a late start doesn't imply developmental delays. Some future high achievers didn't speak until 3 years old. The key isn't the time of the first word, but the overall interaction, understanding, and vocabulary growth over time. Point 50. A common misconception is that incorporating weights into workouts significantly boosts fat loss. The truth is, the impact is minimal. Weight training increases joint stress and injury risk without substantially increasing calorie expenditure. A more effective strategy is consistent exercise at the appropriate intensity, coupled with sufficient recovery time. 51st fact. The common misconception that sunscreen is required only in summer is false. Ultraviolet radiation is present and active throughout the year. Its impact is especially strong on snow, in high-altitude areas, and even under cloudy skies. Daily use of sunscreen is a vital preventative measure against skin cancer and premature aging, not just a seasonal practice. 52nd fact. Cracking ice signifies its impending breakage. Even at safe thicknesses, ice often cracks, a natural auditory effect from expansion and stress. The hazard isn't the sound, but the ice's structural integrity, currents, and potential weak areas. A low, rumbling sound serves as a warning, not a definitive judgment. Number 53. Failure to eat before going to bed can result in insufficient sleep. A slight feeling of hunger does not impede sleep, whereas overeating does. Heavy food, specifically, leads to indigestion, elevates body temperature, and interferes with sleep onset. The optimal approach is to have dinner 2 or 3 hours before retiring, no later. Point 54. It's a common belief that hair becomes accustomed to a shampoo, resulting in a perceived loss of effectiveness. However, this is usually due to alterations in scalp condition, weather conditions, diet, or hormonal levels. The shampoo's inherent effectiveness remains unchanged. Changing shampoo is advisable only if irritation, dryness, or other negative effects are observed. Fact 55. It's a myth that carbonated soft drinks cause stomach ruptures. The gases in these beverages can lead to bloating and some discomfort, but they don't physically harm the stomach. The stomach is elastic and can expand to accommodate gas. The idea of an explosion is a metaphor, not a medical reality. Entry number 56. It is a misconception that creative people are always chaotic. Disorder does not define genius. Many creative individuals are structured, detail-oriented, and follow a strict schedule. Chaos can be inspiring, but it is not a requirement for talent. This is more of a common perception than an actual rule. Entry 57. If an infant has a high temperature, it doesn't automatically mean they are teething. Teething may produce slight discomfort, but a high temperature indicates an infection. The events often occur simultaneously, causing parents to misinterpret the cause. High fever should always be treated as a serious concern. Entry 58. Upon breakage of a mercury thermometer, complete collection of all mercury droplets is paramount. The risk stems not from the liquid mercury, but from its vapor, especially in poorly ventilated environments. Employing a vacuum cleaner or broom is unacceptable. Ventilation, a protective mask, sulfur powder, or professional hazardous waste disposal services are necessary. Point number 59. Cheese consumption by dogs may lead to diarrhea. However, a moderate amount of cheese poses no threat to most dogs. The issue lies in the high fat and lactose content, not the cheese itself. Individual canine responses differ. Saying cheese is categorically forbidden for dogs is an oversimplification. Number 60 on the list of facts. Left-handed children should not be forced to change their handedness. Such retraining frequently causes stuttering, anxiety, and difficulties with writing skills. Being left-handed is not a disorder. It's a normal variation. The brain processes information differently, but not less effectively. The surrounding environment and systems must adapt to the child's needs, not vice versa. Item 61. A common misconception is that sleep should be avoided after a stroke. This is false. Sleep does not negatively impact recovery. Instead, it facilitates it. The crucial step is to promptly contact emergency medical services and avoid delays. In contrast, sleeplessness and stress can worsen the consequences of a stroke. Fact number 62. The combination of alcohol and energy drinks gives the illusion of increased energy devoid of any actual advantages. The caffeine masks the signs of intoxication, preventing the individual from recognizing the deterioration of coordination. The heart experiences excessive strain and blood vessels constrict. This is not a boost of energy, but a dangerous overstrain. The 63rd point. Chicken eggs and cholesterol levels are not always directly correlated. Although egg yolks contain cholesterol, recent studies indicate that for healthy individuals, egg consumption has minimal effect on LDL, bad cholesterol. Sugar and trans fats exert a considerably stronger influence. 64th fact. Reducing caloric intake is necessary for weight loss. Nevertheless, excessively restrictive diets reduce metabolic rate, resulting in diet failures and nutrient deficiencies. A more efficient method involves a consistent reduction in calories, regular meals, and exercise. Fasting without a proper understanding of metabolic processes is self-defeating. 65th fact. People who are blind demonstrate heightened auditory sensitivity. This is not a natural gift, but a result of adaptation. The brain reallocates its processing power. Without vision, the focus shifts to other sensory information. The physical capacity of hearing itself doesn't improve. Instead, the perception and training of hearing are enhanced. Number 66. If a catastrophe strikes, technological systems will likely malfunction. Despite this, a significant number of devices will continue to function without internet or mobile phone access. Examples include radios, flashlights, mechanical clocks, older automobiles, and even paper maps, which are not reliant on global networks. 67th fact. Expensive creams are not automatically more effective. Cost usually reflects marketing, packaging, and brand building, not the quality of the components. A large number of affordable creams include the same active ingredients as luxury brands. The effectiveness of a cream is determined by its ingredients, not its price. Fact 68. The belief that a cat sneezing signifies an approaching weather change is widespread. However, this could actually be a symptom of an allergy, an infection, or simply due to airborne dust. Cats, much like humans, are susceptible to environmental irritants. The weather-related superstition surrounding cat sneezing is a pleasant but ultimately unfounded explanation. 69th fact. Air travel places a heightened load on the heart. This is not a concern for individuals with healthy hearts. Cabin pressure is controlled, minimizing the effects of altitude. Risk is significantly increased only for those with serious pre-existing cardiac conditions, and even then, primarily during extended and stressful flights. Fact 70. The widespread misconception that microwave ovens destroy vitamins is untrue. This cooking method is not more damaging to vitamins than other methods. Conversely, the short cooking time and absence of water result in better nutrient retention than boiling. The effect of radio waves is simply rapid internal heating. The 71st point. The use of alcohol in the ear for otitis is not an effective treatment method. This can lead to increased pain and inflammation, especially if the eardrum is damaged. Self-treating ear infections is dangerous and should be avoided. Seeking professional medical advice is the safest course of action. Fact number 72. The possibility of a patient unexpectedly regaining consciousness during surgery exists. The probability of awareness during general anesthesia is extremely low, only fractions of a percent. Modern monitoring techniques track the depth of anesthesia, making awakening during surgery a rare event. The myth is perpetuated by cinema, not by statistical evidence. Fact number 73. If sweat is absent during an illness, it's a negative sign. Sweating is a process of thermal regulation, not a sign of recovery. High temperature can remain without sweating, which is sometimes acceptable. The patient's general condition and response to treatment are more important than the presence of sweat on the forehead. Fact number 74. The heating of honey results in changes to its composition. At high temperatures, some enzymes are destroyed, leading to a change in taste. This, however, does not make the honey poisonous. The origin of this myth lies in a misinterpretation of the chemical reactions involved. While heated honey is not more effective medicinally, it also does not become toxic. Fact number 75. Thinness is not a guarantee of good health. External appearance does not correlate with blood glucose levels, blood pressure, or muscular strength. The term skinny fat refers to low body weight despite poor metabolic health markers. True health is measured by lab results, physical activity, sleep patterns, and not by clothing size. Fact 76. Scientific studies do not confirm a link between sugar consumption and hyperactivity in adults. A rapid rise in energy after eating sugar can occur, but it is short-lived and followed by a decrease in energy. A person's mood and behavior are influenced by a multitude of factors, such as sleep, stress, and hormones, not just the consumption of sugary foods. Fact 77. It is believed that habitually clicking one's fingers can result in arthritis. This sound is created by the expulsion of gas from the fluid within the joint. Nevertheless, scientific evidence does not support a direct correlation between this practice and the development of joint inflammation. The most likely negative effect is the irritation of those nearby, not the deterioration of cartilage. Fact number 78. In the space vacuum, a human body does not explode instantaneously. The outcome, however, is negative. Without a protective suit, a person will lose consciousness within 10 to 15 seconds from lack of oxygen. Following this, tissue swelling will commence. Body rupture, though, will not occur. The cinematic depiction is a significant exaggeration. Fact number 79. Addiction to coffee resembles drug addiction. While caffeine is addictive, it's a relatively mild form of addiction. Withdrawal symptoms include irritability, sleepiness, and headaches, but these typically resolve within a couple of days. Severe withdrawal, intense cravings, or life-altering consequences are not observed. Number 80. Fact. It is frequently believed that pimples result from dirty hands. While bacteria can be transferred to the skin via unclean hands, this is not the fundamental reason for acne. The underlying causes are hormonal fluctuations, blocked pores, and inflammation. Overwashing and rubbing the face can actually worsen acne. Hygiene is essential, but it is not a complete solution for acne treatment. The 81st point. A person's quietness doesn't automatically indicate that they are concealing information. Silence could result from exhaustion, apprehension, introverted nature, or a simple absence of words. Emotional expression varies among individuals. To interpret silence as guilt is a personal interpretation, not an objective truth. Fact number 82. A crunching sound made by snow underfoot suggests air purity. The degree of this crunching depends on the temperature. In very cold weather, snowflakes are compacted and break easily when walked upon. This is a matter of physics, not ecology. It is important to note that the presence of a crunching sound does not automatically mean clean air. One could walk on snow that crunches loudly and still breathe polluted air, or conversely, breathe clean air without hearing any crunching sound at all. The myth that spiders commonly enter the mouths of sleeping people is persistent. This belief has existed for decades, but biological experts deny it. Spiders avoid locations with vibrations, noise, human breath, and scent. The probability of this happening under normal conditions is negligible. Number 84. A noise in the ear, such as ringing or clicking, may indicate the presence of an earwax impaction. Nevertheless, this is not always the reason. Sounds emanating from the ear can originate from inflammation, elevated pressure, or problems related to blood vessels or the temporomandibular joint. An earwax blockage is a possibility, but not the exclusive one. A medical professional, not a cotton swab, is necessary to determine the precise cause. The 85th point. A chill in the neck is often mistakenly diagnosed as osteochondrosis. The actual cause is usually muscle spasms triggered by rapid cooling. Osteochondrosis involves chronic changes in the intervertebral discs and does not develop overnight. The misunderstanding continues because of similar symptoms. Point 86. The idea that childbirth automatically causes tooth loss is incorrect. Pregnancy can affect the gums negatively owing to hormonal shifts and potential calcium deficits. But pregnancy itself does not damage teeth. Good oral hygiene, vitamins, and regular dental care prevent problems, regardless of how many children a woman has. Fact 87. The prolonged presence of a mobile phone in a pocket is associated with a potential risk of infertility. The connection between radio frequency radiation and fertility, however, remains unconfirmed. Elevated temperature and constrictive clothing are considered more likely contributing factors. The primary concern is overheating, not the emitted signal. Research continues, but premature alarm is unwarranted. Fact 88. Extensive fantasizing in children does not imply an inability to discern reality. A robust imagination is a developmental stage in cognitive growth, not a symptom of any disorder. The skills of playing, inventing narratives, and storytelling are foundational to abstract thought, not a cause for alarm. The 89th fact. There's a misconception that wearing glasses constantly will damage your eyesight. This is untrue. Glasses don't make your eyes lazy or relaxed. They correct the focus, allowing for clear vision. Deterioration of vision is related to genetics, age, and the strain placed upon the eyes, not the glasses themselves. Morning is generally considered the ideal time for vitamin intake. Nevertheless, the specific timing varies depending on the vitamin solubility. Fat-soluble vitamins are best absorbed after a meal, while water-soluble vitamins can be taken at any time of day. It should be mentioned that some vitamins, for instance B6 and magnesium, may be better consumed before bed to prevent sleep interference. A universal schedule for vitamin consumption does not exist. 91st interesting fact. Dark-eyed individuals generally experience better vision in low-light conditions. The color of the iris does impact light sensitivity. However, this difference is insignificant. The reality is that night vision is largely dependent on overall visual acuity, age, and the condition of the retina, more so than eye color. Fact number 92. The act of boiling food that has fallen to the ground does not automatically render it safe for consumption. High temperatures fail to eliminate certain toxins and bacterial spores. Mold and botulism are especially hazardous. Prior cleanliness of the food is paramount compared to any subsequent treatment. Boiling is not a guarantee of sterilization. Number 93. It is wrongly believed that smoking without coughing is safer. The truth is that the damage is caused not just by the smoke, but by its components: tar, carbon monoxide, and carcinogens. A cough is a defense mechanism, not an indicator of the extent of the damage. Smoking silently is as harmful as smoking with a cough. Point 94. The use of activated charcoal following alcohol ingestion does not eliminate hangovers. Activated charcoal is useful in treating intoxications. However, it does not neutralize ethanol. It does not absorb alcohol from the blood and offers no liver protection. Any effect is minimal and delayed unless administered immediately. Fact 95. The removal of wisdom teeth, a mandatory procedure? The answer is no, not always. Provided the tooth grows correctly, does not damage adjacent teeth, and does not cause inflammation, it may be retained. Surgical extraction carries inherent risks. The dentist's decision is based on radiographic examination, not the patient's age. Fact 96. Nosebleeds are frequently linked to elevated blood pressure. Hypertension can cause blood vessel rupture, resulting in a nosebleed. Nevertheless, the majority of nosebleeds are attributable to dry air, injury, or inherent fragility of the nasal blood vessels. A single instance of a nosebleed is not necessarily a cause for alarm. Fact 97. The process of aging is characterized by the unavoidable deterioration of the body. Nevertheless, many functions can be sustained or even improved as one ages: stamina, cognitive skills, and emotional intelligence. Biological age is more strongly influenced by lifestyle than by calendar age. 98th fact. The assertion that exposing plants to music enhances their growth rate lacks definitive scientific support. Studies have not established a clear causal relationship. Sound waves can impact the microclimate and induce vibrations, yet a direct connection between musical selections and the photosynthetic process is absent. Essential factors for plant growth are sufficient light, appropriate watering, and fertile soil, not the choice of music. 99th fact. Experiencing illness once in a season doesn't prevent future illness. Certain viruses create immunity. However, many viruses mutate, resulting in the potential for repeated infection. This is especially applicable to influenza and acute respiratory infections. Immunity gained in one season is not permanent or comprehensive. The immune response is not indefinite and not universally effective. Fact 100. No appetite in the morning may indicate a difficult day ahead. Morning hunger is a habit, not a predictor of the future. For some, breakfast is a necessary routine. For others, it is an extra task. Energy levels are determined by sleep patterns, stress levels, and daily schedule, not by eating a sandwich.